What's going on, you Brapaholics? So, we've had the RZR for almost 2 months now, and we've had all this Kamimoto accessories for about a month now. And so this is gonna be a laid back video. I'm gonna walk through and talk about all the things I like about the accessories and all the things that I don't like about the accessories. Alright, so first things first, we're gonna start off with the mirrors. The mirrors are my favorite accessory on the RZR. I really like the build quality of the mirror. It doesn't vibrate, it doesn't move, easy to adjust, super simple to install. It'll fit with most windshields. I have this Kamimoto windshield. The clamp fits just fine in there. It should be fine with most windshields. I'm not going to guarantee that it will fit with some windshields. It does have a little bit of a blue tint to it, and that is to help keep just reflections down and stuff and glare. There's so many options to choose from on the app to change these lights. I have a very small nitpick with the lights, and that is when it gets wet, there does seem to get some moisture inside of the plastic here where the LEDs are. It does kind of like fog up, and even now there's still a little bit of moisture in there. So I'd like to see this sealed a little better. I would hate for these lights to burn out because of water getting in there. So what I'm probably gonna do is looks like there's some screws here. We could probably tear this thing apart, and I'm probably just gonna dry it out and then throw some sort of silicone in there or just some sort of sealant to keep the moisture out of there. I'm not entirely sure where the water's coming through. I'm pretty sure it's coming through right here, but it's not like it's filling up with water. It's just getting a little bit of moisture in there. You guys probably won't be able to tell, but there's just a touch of moisture in there, and that can create problems down the road. So hopefully we can kind of manage that. All right, next thing we have is this Kamimoto plastic poly windshield. So far, I'm loving it. The clamps are very well built. Windshields in the past where the clamps always fail, or they just don't clamp on right. Either one clamp is always loose or whatever. This clamp's in nice and firm. With any plastic windshield, you're gonna get scuffs on it. It's just the way it's gonna be, especially when you're trying to wipe off dirt or mud. You're just gonna have a little bit of scuffs. Now this is holding up pretty good as far as scuffs is going. It's gonna get worse and worse as we go, but it seems to be holding up pretty good so far. I said this in a previous video. This is just what I've heard, but supposedly you're not supposed to use glass cleaners on your plastic windshields. The chemicals do tend to fog or cloud them over time. So I am only going to use soapy water to wipe off this windshield, and we'll see how that happens. We'll see what happens in the future. Hopefully, hopefully that'll help make it last longer. But I think it's gonna get so scuffed up after a while, just the way that I drive, especially with the trail riding, with just trees and brush and dirt getting on it. I think it's just gonna get so scuffed up after a while that's gonna be when it's time to replace it. But and I also store my RZR in a garage, so it does not get hit with UV light all the time. So that's another thing you can think about. Your plastic windshields, if you get constantly blasted with that sun, it can, it's not good for that plastic. But otherwise, the vents work really good. If you want a little breeze through there, just open them up while you're driving, or I have them open most of the time. It hasn't been too dusty out yet this year. But one thing that these vents are good for, especially if you're not really running anything in the back, but dust tends to circulate back into the cab if you don't have a little bit of airflow going through here. So that's my main reason of using it. Maybe the fit and finish down here. There's a little bit of gap right here. Not a huge deal, but it'd be nice to see that a little bit more snugger. But otherwise, very simple to install. I really like it. The most important thing is the clamps are easy to take on and off, and they hold very well. So so far I like this windshield. All right, so for the front bumper for the RZR, I really like most of this. The construction for the main part of the bumper, like right here, it seems to be very well built. This is a very nitpicky thing, but this metal plate right here, it looks crooked to me. Maybe it wasn't welded on exactly perfectly, but either way, it's really not that noticeable. Very simple to install. They just had some reinforcement plates to put inside of this grill here and down here, and it just bolts right in. Super easy. Now, one thing that I dislike about this a little bit is that I wish the tolerance for this end piece here and then this grill protector up here. They all bolt down together, which is fine. But I wish the tolerance was a little snugger because I have it cranked, I have it snugged down really tight. And I can still wiggle the end of it just a little bit. I just wish the tolerance were a little tighter so it just didn't wiggle as much. Otherwise, that's my only gripe about it. I guess I wish it also came in more colors. I understand why black is the default color just because it's cheap. Otherwise, yeah, as far as bumpers go, it's gonna do its job. I wish some of it was built a little better, but otherwise, nice bumper, looks good. All right, now for the fang lights. So I love the fang lights, gives the machine more pizzazz. So I haven't heard anything back yet. I did let them know about the fang lights for my particular machine, and I do have a theory about this, but there are supposed to be speedy nuts that the OEM razor has so most razors just have either colored fang lights right here or just white fang lights. This one had previously, this is the Ultimate Edition, it had fang lights that lit up with the white. There's little nuts that go on the back of here, they call them speedy nuts. And they're basically self-tapping nuts essentially. They thread onto this plastic dowel that's on the back side of these fang lights. And on the kit, they tell you to reuse the speedy nuts that you take off, which is fine. It's not a big deal. But the speedy nuts the speedy nuts on this machine, and actually the speedy nuts I had on my 2020 Razor Turbo back in the day, they were too big to go on the fang lights that Kemimoto sent me. I have a theory about that. I'm wondering if either internationally the fang lights that they have smaller speedy nuts on it, or on the newer models they upgraded to bigger speedy nuts for whatever reason. I don't know. That's my only theory that why it's like that. So this is my second pair of fang lights that I've had to zip tie into place for now until I order some smaller speedy nuts so I can actually tighten up the fang lights with those nuts. So right now they are still zip tied in. I just got to get smaller speedy nuts and it should be good to go. So that's just one thing to consider if you use these. Otherwise, I do love them. There's so many options to make it do whatever you want. But otherwise, yeah, I haven't had any issues with water getting into them or nothing. So they seem to be sealed pretty good. It's super simple to hook them up. And yeah, that's so far, I love them. All right, now for the tree kickers or Nerf bars, whatever you want to call them. Don't have a whole lot to say about these. I mean, it's in the name. They are tree kickers. So if you are getting into some tight situations, these are supposed to help you from not scratching your plastic up. Haven't had any issues with them so far, and they're really easy to install. You just remove these 3 bolts from this plastic piece here, and then you just put this on, bolt it back in. Now the tricky part about this was actually it's actually hard to get into there to tighten those bolts up. I had to use I didn't exactly have, if you have an Allen wrench, I mean that probably would have been fine, but I used a socket on my impact, and I just had to use a swivel to get them in there. I got it. It wasn't super easy, but not a huge deal. Anyways, same with the bumper. Probably gonna powder coat that down the road, just because. Just want to make it look better. So if these came in more colors, that'd be awesome. Now for this rear view mirror, I love this too. So I had a little bit concerned about this vibrating on the roll bar up here, but it really doesn't vibrate at all, which is good. The mirror is nice and big and easily adjustable. As you can see, you can move it just like the side mirrors. And yeah, it's super easy to clamp on. And if you have a roof and a windshield, it goes right into place. So I'm loving that. The only thing I don't like about it is that this they have a dome light in here, or a reading light that you hit. It runs off its own battery, which is, in my opinion, I just don't like that. It's just more stuff to go wrong, and you have to charge it separately if you want to use it. So right here is a USB port to charge the battery, and it has this little rubber protector to plug it up, so hopefully water and stuff don't get in there, but it literally does not do anything. It doesn't stay in place, and it's so annoying to charge this thing. These lights run off of a RGB controller, but this light right here, down here, runs off its own battery. So it's just a little frustrating in that aspect. I don't like that decision. Other than the RGB, I love that mirror. And another thing I'm having trouble with is that I can't get my colors to stay on the option that I chose. So right now I normally, unlike everything else, I normally have this as a solid blue color, and when the machine gets turned off for a long period of time, it must be it resets the RGB controller or something. I don't know. It does not stay on the option that I want it to stay on. So it usually just kind of flashes like that because I'm too lazy to keep changing it. So that's a little frustrating. And with everything, I stated this in my previous video, but all of these RGB components use their own app. I just wish there was one consistent app to use all this stuff on, and there probably is, but I literally just scan the code that's on the RGB controller and use that. So that's a little frustrating in my opinion, but so I have 4 apps to change all these colors. Now we're here to the whips and the flag mount / whip mounts. So first things first, the whip mounts, love them. Super easy to take on and off, and you can actually adjust it. You can adjust this pivot point right here to whatever direction you want. So I have it, that's why I have it tipped like that, because I'm able to switch that angle up. So that way it's about the same line as my roof, and it doesn't hit my garage door when I go in and out. So that's really nice. I just like the look of it on that with that angle, so that's why I did that. So they actually sent me these whips 2 years ago, still running them. These were the 5-footers. I actually cut a foot on. I cut a foot off just because they were just a little long for trail riding. The 5-footers are good for dunes and stuff. I just don't do enough dune riding to have them at 5-footers. But so take this with a grain of salt. These are 2 years old. I'm sure they've had a lot of changes since then. So they actually sent us some 3-footers a couple weeks ago. We have them on the Scrubs RZR, and we did a review on that, and we absolutely love them. And we actually have spring mounts for them, so the whips can move more, especially if they're going to hit trees and stuff. So I highly recommend those springs if you're running longer whips. That being said, the 3-footers tend to be more bendable than these, and that's my only gripe about these, is that these are pretty stiff, especially for being 5-footers. Like I said, these are 2 years old. Things have changed. The 3-footers that we got are a lot more bendable, so they might have changed since then, but otherwise have really good luck with these. The reason that we like these so much is, for one, they are pretty bright. I do wish that there was maybe more. This is just being really nitpicky. I do wish there was maybe some more LEDs on this. There's a lot more space in there that they could have wrapped the LEDs a little tighter. It just gives it a little bit more color and stuff. We've ran some other whip brands in the past, and they're wrapped more tightly. That's the only thing. But what we really like about these is that they actually clamp into place and they don't twist when you're riding. We've had a lot of bad luck with other whip brands in the past where these whips tend to vibrate and twist, and it's actually pulling the solder right off of the LED strip, and it ruins the whip. So these don't do that. They don't twist or nothing. They stay right into place like they're supposed to, and had 0 issues with these, so they work great. Right now for these storage bags, so I really do like these bags a lot. They're built very well. A lot of space to put things in. So this is like a little protector flap, I guess, and it does actually have a pocket right there. So I have some tools in there right now. So then you can open up this pocket right here. And I got my rain gear and stuff in there, but a lot of space to put stuff in. And then there's some side compartments right here. You can unzip this and put more stuff in it right there. I love that. Same with the bottom bag. So these are actually 2 separate bags that clip together. So you don't have to run both of these if you don't want to. You can run the bottom one if you want. But so another flap and more pocket right there. And then same with this. You can unzip that, and there's just a lot more storage in there. I think I need to retie this down a little bit. I'm having a problem with getting the sides want to fold in, as you can see. So they're not a huge deal, but yeah, I think that's just kind of I think I got it strapped down a little too tight. So I actually power wash these. So these are fairly waterproof. I shouldn't say they're waterproof. These are fairly water resistant. Now I power washed my whole RZR after our last ride, and things in here did get wet. Not like soaked, but they were damp. So After I was done washing it, I opened up all the pockets so the inside of my bags dried out. So they're not completely waterproof. If you want some more water resistant storage boxes, I would recommend getting the plastic storage boxes, and they also sent me that. I don't have it here right now, but right now it's gonna be on Brock's RZR, but that is gonna be a lot more water resistant. The plastic it's all sealed up, and if you want a more water resistant option, I would get the plastic storage box. But this takes up less space, and then we have room for a cooler here or whatever. So that's why I like that. That is my general impression on all the accessories. I just like how you can personalize your side by side to your liking, which is with this accessories, and it really helps for trail riding. It just makes, well, just better. So with all the mirrors and stuff, you can see, you know, obviously you see people behind you and whatnot. But what's really nice though with these lights, I know they're flashing, it's definitely not necessary, but when it's really dusty out in the trails, you can actually see these lights through the dust pretty good. So you can see people that are behind you or incoming in front of you. So these lights do give you some benefit in that aspect. I highly recommend Chemimoto products. They've been so good to us in the past. I highly recommend their product, and if you guys are interested in any of this stuff, I do have a link down below. You guys can get a discount, and it helps us on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.